Okay. Okay. Let me start it again. So for large organization, we normally use the another one called the Wi-Fi AP, the Wi-Fi AP switch or access point switch. So it means that we're not going to connect the switch to the normal, the access point to the normal switch, but it's special switch for the Wi-Fi only. So basically, it's provide PoE for every port to the access point. Secondly, it will provide the management software that they can manage every AP. So most of the AP will be just plug it in and you leave it. You don't have to remote to that one. Everything will be configured on this one only, and it will remote manage the AP by itself. Of course, one of the good thing for this type, I do have Cisco, I do have Aruba, I do have TP-Link. Okay, one of the good thing for this AP switch is they do have the thing called security. So what type of the security is mean you can do the VLAN over the Wi-Fi. First thing, VLAN is the computer network, right? So you can separate the guest and real user onto different VLAN to the same port. The second thing is to have the security scan for the log access point. You know what the log access point means? You know what the log access point means? Have you ever watched the movie Star Wars called the Rogue One? So what is the log access point? What is the normal word log mean? Like the Star Wars, the log one. So normally mean you can search on the net for the meaning. It's normally mean the outcast or whatever. So for the log access point mean, remember my friend, he's a professor in the medicine at City Last Hospital. ไม่บอกชื่อเดี๋ยวว่าลบ in one of the hospital. Okay, and he's a very good doctor. He's actually my junior. He resigned already. He's more than 60 years old already. But long time ago, I went there and asked him. He got doctor in ceramic board. It's real physics doctor, and he also got the doctor in medicine. So normally we consider he is double doctor degree. Yeah, but of course the ceramic physics that he learned is to do the ceramic board. So it's related to his field. And he loved technology. He not married me. Now he have a lot of money. So every year or 2 years, he buy new notebook, new iPad, new phone. Of course, he have the office that link to his computer provided by the medicine civil. And he asked the admin, hey, I have 3 phone, 2 iPad, and 2 notebook. I want to connect that one to the internet as well. That it said that, okay, Ajahn, I'll do it later. He went for a month and he said that, I don't care. He went to Pantin Plaza, and he get what? An access point. And the guy at Pantin Plaza said that, plug and pay. Yeah, of course, plug and pay without any password. That access point is considered to be low access point. So every access point that going to connect to our internet. For the security, it have to be the one that allow the admin. Normally, we're not going to allow you to connect normal access point into typical landline into your computer. So with this type of the AP switch, it will monitor the AP that it can see on their territory or on their area. And if it can pick up a weird AP pop-up in that directory, it means that this one is log access point come up. So it will scream or it will notify the admin, and the admin job is to hunt it down, the log access point. So what happened with the log access point was so wrong. If I want to hack that hospital network from the internet, I have to come to the internet, which is we have to go to the firewall, IPS, IDS, and a lot of protection before I can go to the server. But now I open up my notebook, connect to this log access point. I already in the internal network of the hospital already. I don't have to go to firewall or IPS and IDS at all. No password. So this type of the Wi-Fi maintenance which can find out the log access point and notify as well. VLAN is one of the very important because one access point we can separate guest and the worker. Okay, lastly about the access point type. Do you have any question for this one? Do you have any question for this one? If you don't have any question for this one, so I would continue for the next one. This is, I don't think if I can finish this one, okay? Okay, so the next one that I'm going to talk, so we now go a bit deeply into the protocol and the detail, which I'm not going to cover like very deep, but to get you the idea of how the wireless protocol works, just like normal computer network, and not do that. Okay, and point out some of the security we point out before the exam. Okay. The wireless LAN had a performance, architecture, and security concern. Let's just check out this old obsolete one. We do have the IEEE 802.11 standard, and we still use it, but it's called in normal access point. We have the backward compatibility to this one, which the first one. B. Sorry. I have to click enable editing first. Okay, F5. Sorry. เห็นรูปเปล่าในนั้นเห็น PowerPoint ไหมครับ เพราะว่าหน้าพรีเซนต์กับหน้าเห็นนะผมไม่รู้มันเป็นหน้าไหน
เห็นครับ
เห็นนะเห็นใช่ไหมครับ เห็น PowerPoint นะ โอเค so So the one that still live nowadays, IEEE 802.11b. Most of the IoT device are still using B, longer distance, less CPU and power consumption, but lower speed, but you get the distance. What speed that we talk? 11 megabit per second. This is supposed to be enough. Okay, A is obsolete after 6 months that it was born. We're talking about that one. We still have G now today. Both of them are still be used. This one is 54 megabit per second. We still use I, but we're not talking about what I that is. It's in the Wi-Fi security we talk about. Okay. Do we have the other thing else? Yes, of course we do have N. And after that, we have the quite old standard called ACE. And nowadays we have the Wi-Fi 6, which is we call AX. And we have another standard called AXE. We will talk about that one after you understand normal concept. If we consider this one here, okay, IEEE 802.11 specification, okay, you can see this one. The standard approved July 1999 and July 1999, B and A. G is later, but the maximum data length is 1154. The other length 1154. One thing, no one using this one at all. You know why? Their very first company that they issue the hardware of the wireless. Aruba, Orinoco, Bell Lab, Cisco, and they start to sell the Wi-Fi hardware interface with the access point. I remember that year is 2001. And 2001, I cannot remember exactly. My lab, my PhD lab, we decided to buy an access point with the cost of Honda Civic or Honda Accord and use it with 4 or 5 notebook. That one is very expensive for normal standard 2 megabit per second link. And after half a year, there are a lot of product of 802.11b out. And that one is cost less. The access point costs like $1,000. This is not that expensive during that time. And the hardware to put it into the notebook we call PCM CIA is cost like $400 each. And that one is IEEE 802.11b new standard come up. Yeah, our professor said that okay, buy it. So we replace the old one with the better one, upgrade from 2 megabit per second to 11 megabit per second with less than a Honda Civic cost. $1,000 for the access point and $400 for each notebook that we want to interface. We got 7 or 6 of them during that time. And we've been using this one for almost a year. We have it 11 megabit per second. And suddenly, there are a company called Microsoft and Orinoco come up with IEEE 802.11a. The thing that they recommend is A is good. It can run up to 54 megabit per second. And it's very expensive. So we decide to buy just one access point one PCM CIA card to the notebook and test it out. And we find out that they promise 54 megabit per second, but it's only 3 feet allow the access point. If you move away 3 meters, it's dropped to 1210 megabit per second, like the same as IEEE 802.11b. So what the point that we have to put another Honda Accord to replace the old one? And one of the bad thing is if we move more than like 10 or 20 meters away, the connection disappears. But for the 11B, 50 meters, not 20 meters, it can be connected even though the bandwidth will drop. So the coverage area of this one here is very bad. And one thing, it's not compatible. If you use the hardware for this one, you have to use this hardware for this one. If you use the hardware for this one, you have to use this one only. No backward compatibility. You know what happened with this design? It's called the best experience of the business. And that one is the class that people have to tell the young generation for engineering that you have to consider the word called backward compatibility for whole time. It cannot sell very good until they say that they have to take the chip away from the board, because when they launch the product to the market, no one want to buy it. Why? I spend a lot of money buying my access point and my Wi-Fi hardware already. If I want to use G, I have to throw the whole thing away, which are shorter lengths as well, and 3 times more expensive. People say, what the hell? So in the lab, after we bought access point and one PCM area for the notebook, we not going to buy it. And yes, the whole product, they have no backward compatibility. Why? It's based on 5 gigahertz, when 11 megabit B is based on 2.4 gigahertz. And after that, what happened? Of course, some of the chip can be used. They got the new standard after 2 years. IEEE 802.11g, which is use the CCK modulation and OFDM modulation. You see? Use both of them, but rather than running on 5 gigahertz, you're running on 2.4 gigahertz. And what happened with this one? It means that whenever that you want to connect faster, very close distance, you use CCK. Oh, sorry, you use OFDM. And if the client go further away, more distant, so you swap into another modulation technique called CCK. Of course, you drop the speed, but you get more distance to cover it. So it's come up with the IEEE 802.11g as the new standard with backward compatibility. It means that if you want to use G, you just repair the access point G or install a new one. But your hardware for B can still use with the G too. So this is experience for mistake. Then the business, they said that the business touched the engineering. And they say that every younger generation of the engineer have to know the word backward compatibility if they decide the new product. It's otherwise the product won't be able to sell them, or the user not happy to buy it from this. I explained this one already, okay? 11 megabit per second at 2.4 gigahertz. 1 to the data rates, okay. One of the things on there is 5 gigahertz and long time ago in Thailand. Sorry, I put that one is in Thai because long time ago in Thailand is obsolete to use 5 gigahertz because it's been allocated to the other organization already. But now today we can use 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz. G 2.4, but used to modulation. Okay. And I talked about this one already. I is talking about security thing. Okay, let's see this one, the database. You can see this one here for the A. If you're talking about 100 feet, the performance will be dropped. And if we're talking about like 110 feet, okay, A cannot be used. But for the B, you can see that it can go to like 50, 100 meter, but the bandwidth will drop into like 1 megabit per second for the coverage. Okay, but G is the same. G 2.4. Yeah, of course, it's used lower bandwidth, so the length is better. The higher the bandwidth, the length gets shorter. จำไว้เนาะ bandwidth ยิ่งสูงมันยิ่งส่งใกล้ bandwidth ยิ่งต่ำยิ่งส่งได้ไกลได้เรียนแล้วใช่ไหมแต่ความถี่นะไม่ใช่ bandwidth ความถี่ของ bandwidth นะถ้าความถี่มันสูงจำนวนปริมาตรของ data จะสูงได้แต่ระยะทางจะเตี้ยแต่ต่ำเป็น telecommunication เฉยๆธรรมดา so for the G so it's covered. That way, we don't have CCK to cover this one. G B length only. G length, they use both of them, and the AA is observed or use it. So the throughput for any mixed mode is going to be equal or less than the maximum. Surely you get maximum, right? And if you have the mixed mode, I'll show you why for the mixed mode. Most of the access point now today for the 2.4 gigahertz, now we don't care that much. But a long time ago, before we have AX and PC, we used 2.4 gigahertz and we cared about the bandwidth. If we use it mixed mode, of course, if you have very old equipment that still have B, long time ago, we don't have that much IoT. We do have notebook or mobile phone. And if you're talking about old equipment that they still have B, it means your equipment have to be more than 15 years. And you still use it at home. So you have to configure your access point to be a mixed mode. And believe me, most of your access point, if you not do anything, is by default it's a mixed mode at home. Why? Because ไอ้ช่างที่มันมาทำมันไม่สนใจอยู่แล้วว่าบ้านคุณจะมี B หรือไม่มี You have to ask yourself if you have the equipment older than 15 years old, you may have the B equipment and you have to use the mixed mode. But what happened with the mixed mode? Rather than you have maximum G performance at 54 megabit per second, your speed will drop half. เอาง่ายๆเลยบ้านคุณมี5 กิกะเฮิรตซ์กับ 2.4 กิกะเฮิรตซ์คุณลองต่อ 2.4 กิกะเฮิรตซ์ถ้า 2.4 กิกะเฮิรตซ์ไปไม่สุดถึง 40 เมื่อไหร่ mix mode แล้วก็ผมบอกได้เลยนะว่า I'll tell you a normal worker that they come to your home and set up the access point, they don't care to check it out for you. They only care come in 1 hour and leave. So what happened? Everything by default. For example, you're living in condominium and you have another room and using the same channel. Now, rather than you can use the maximum performance of the channel, you have to share with your home. So set up the wireless. Might allow you a maximum performance to 300-400 megabits per second connection to your home. But normally they don't care. So what you're gonna get? Less than 100 megabits per second all the time. And if you're happy that you can get, let me show you here. Oh, sorry. Let me show you here. Let me show you. Okay. You know this software, the speed test. You know this software, the speed test. You can see this access point, right? You can see this access point. The access point is a good one. It's supposed to run 300-400 megabits per second. And I'm quite sure that they're not configured at all. They just plug and leave it. So most of the access point can be plug and leave it. If they configure according to whatever environment, I'm quite sure that your access point can go up to 300-400 megabits per second, even for the free one. That one is very expensive one. Yeah, now it's quite good. It's quite good, 200. I'm happy with this one. So they configure it. They configure it. Okay. Go to your home, check out your connection. If your connection is too slow, consider to log it into your access point and configure it according to your environment. Okay. If I can get like this one, I'm not happy at all. 30 megabits per second, I'm not happy at all. I'm supposed to get like 200, 300 all the time. This I'm not happy. Yeah, 100 is happy. It's depend on the time. So, okay, let's come back. กลับบ้านไปกันได้ครับผมกลัวโควิด คุณมานั่งไอในห้องเพื่อนคุณ หรือว่านั่งใกล้ๆกันหมดอยู่แล้ว เพื่อนคุณไม่กลัว ติดกันแล้วใช่ไหมเอาแค่นี้ไว้วันนี้เดี๋ยวพอแล้วกันเดี๋ยวแป๊บเดียว So for the mix mode, why the throughput is dropped? Okay, I'll show you this graph. For 2.4 gigahertz, okay, 2.4. I'm not going to talk about 5 yet. Okay, this one here, you can see like 2.4 G. Okay, TCP throughput. You see the mix mode. Okay, we normally consider this one request to send, create to send. I'll explain that one. This one here is mean for the exit point. This one here is mean the peer-to-peer mode. So if we're talking about GeoLink, you see this one, GeoLink, 10 feet away, you got 24 megabits per second when test. Okay. If we use the mid mode, you see the performance drop. So I said that most of the admin, they don't care if you do have. Yeah, of course, I told you if you still have the equipment that older, or you using IoT device that they use B, you have to use the mid mode for you 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth for the access point. But if you don't have one, you can not sacrifice that one with half of the bandwidth that you should get. But nowadays, no one care that much because you connect via what? 5 gigahertz, right? Okay. I'm not going to go to the detail and teach you how to configure, but if some of you want to know more how to configure a proper Wi-Fi, start from at home. We're not talking about config for the big company like this one. Just start from home first and see what you can talk to. Okay. Now, I'm going to wrap up this one. พอแล้วโอ้โหเจ็บคอเลยด้วยอยู่รู้สึกเจ็บคอเลยอ่ะไม่มาเมื่อเช้ายังรู้สึกดียังกินโซดามะนาวอยู่เลยพวกคุณมาแป๊บเดียวผมรู้สึกเจ็บคอเลยเว้ยคุณฉีดไปกี่เข็มแล้วอ่ะผมแม่ง5ไปแล้วอ่ะดูได้เลยว่า5เอาอย่างนี้สมัยก่อนเลยนะคนที่ฉีดแรกๆเลยคือเดี๋ยวก่อนเดี๋ยวค่อยอัดต่อนะขอโม้อย่างอื่นก่อนนะไว้อัดแล้วเดี๋ยวขี้เกียจไปตัดแล้วเดี๋ยวจะสอนแล้วจะอัดใหม่นะ